Okay, so we're going to move now into vocabulary and schema building. And I don't really need to give you a review of this. You know the importance of vocabulary, you know the importance of schema building, you get it. Now I just want to give you um, some activities to think about, okay? So we're going to do an activity together now. It's a concept sort. If you turn to activity 3 in your workbooks, um, I've given you 4 different categories, right? 4 different interconnected concepts: habitat, survival, adaptation, and reproduction, okay? Now I'm going to show you some pictures, and you are going to write the number of the picture in the category or the concept that you have chosen. All right, and then in the end, I'll show you how I categorized the words, the pictures, but then you might have done it a little bit differently because some of them overlap. All right, so we're going to go do that now. So I'm going to show you pictures, and you are going to write the number of the picture in the category or under the concept that you believe the picture belongs in. All right, so here's the first picture. Take a look at the picture and tell me, what category does this picture belong in? All right, write the number in your workbooks. Here's the second picture. Is it adaptation, habitat, reproduction, or survival? Here's the third picture. Another one. And the fifth one. Make sure that you've put them all into a category, and let's move on. Okay, so now I'm going to give you some more pictures. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. Do you know, or can you see what number 9 is showing here? Okay, this is obviously bullfrog. And then what is happening over here? She is laying eggs. She is depositing eggs. All right, this one, he's eating a crayfish. All right. Okay, I'm going to give you just another second or two. And let's move on to the last set of pictures. Okay, number 10. Number 11. Number 12. And the last one. Okay, a couple more seconds. Make sure that you're happy with your choices. And let's now go over the pictures together, see what we came up with. Okay, habitat. I'll show you the pictures that I chose for habitat. I chose number 5 as well as number 10. Those might have been the easiest ones to categorize because they're not pictures of an actual animal, the bullfrog, which our unit is about, but rather just where the bullfrog lives, right? So kids might have had an easier time with that than the other ones that I put out. But you know, this is already now stimulating discussion. Oh, well, it has to be the habitat. It has to be a habitat. It has to be the bullfrog's habitat because there's, water lilies, right? Or this looks like it's the bayou, so that's the bullfrog's habitat. That's how we know it belongs in habitat, okay? So let's move on now to our other categories. Okay, survival. I chose for survival number 1. Okay, so because this is a bullfrog hibernating in the mud, and he's hibernating because it's cold, right? He's hibernating in winter. And so for me, that meant that's how he's surviving in the cold. Okay, and then number 3 this is a heron eating the bullfrog. And so now he's fighting for his survival. And then number 7 is the bullfrog eating a crayfish. So in this he is the prey, and in this picture he is the predator. Okay, and so kids might have discussed number 1. Maybe this is adaptation. Maybe he has learned how to bury himself in the mud to survive the winter, right? So here again, these pictures, right? They stimulate discussion, and they build these visual images of the topic, of the content in the child's mind, right? And so the more visual you can get, the more tactile, kinesthetic you can get in your classroom, do it, because it's another pathway to learning. It's another pathway beyond just textual information. All right, let's go to adaptation. All right, so I chose for adaptation number 2. Number 4, the bullfrog swimming in the water, the bullfrog in the leaves, as well as number 11, the bullfrog eating the insect. And so, here my thought was, the bullfrog's color, this greenish brown color is a way that he camouflages himself in his habitat. And here, he's developed a long tongue in order to be able to zap insects. Here, his webbed feet help him swim. He's an amphibian, and he can hop with his long legs. And then here, you might have chosen reproduction for this, because this is how bullfrogs call their mates, right? By puffing up their throats. And actually, I thought about that too, but this bullfrog is so unique with his colors and his 2, sets of, I don't even know what you call them, but the glands in his throat that puff up for the croaking, and the color, that I decided that this belonged in adaptation. Okay, and there's one more. Oh, there's one more here on this slide that I forgot about. Number 12, the bullfrog's bulging eyes. So He has bulging eyes because he needs to be able to see underwater. Not just for that reason, but he has the bulging eyes, and it's the way that his body has adapted to his environment. Okay, reproduction is the last one. Here I chose number 6. I could have put, the two images of the croaking bullfrogs in the same category, but I just broke them up. Here, I think this is very obviously connected to reproduction, the female bullfrog laying her eggs, and the two bullfrogs mating. So again, you can see that obviously if we were in a classroom together, we would be talking about this. And if you can imagine your kids working in groups to categorize these kinds of pictures, you can imagine that a lot of discussion might be happening around these visuals because they're interesting and they're stimulating. Now, if you think that your kids need another scaffold, you could always put a label on the picture, like female bullfrog depositing her eggs, right? Or male bullfrog calling to his mate, right? And that way, kids would have the vocabulary right in front of them, right? And then they could use that as a scaffold to start talking about the larger concept, which is the semantic category, of reproduction, of adaptation. If you think that they know the vocabulary on their own, or you want to test them, how well can they talk about this vocabulary, then give it to them without it. Hopefully they would have some student glossaries where they would have some of these words that they could refer back to. In any case, this is a concept sort to get kids talking about not just vocabulary, but where the vocabulary that they've learned fits into a larger lexical or semantic category.